Hey guys, welcome back to Star Wars Experience, and today we will be going over a rivalry of the ages, possibly one of the longest lasting showdowns in Star Wars history, and we all know what I'm talking about. That's right, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Maul. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the backstory of these two. Maul started out as a young, Force-sensitive Dathomirian Zabrak. He was originally born on Iardonia as a Dathomirian Night Brother, and was later given up by the Night Sister Mother to Darth Sidious, and as you all know, the rest is history. Obi-Wan was born on the planet Stujon 57 BBY. Kenobi eventually joined the Jedi Order and got his initial lessons from Jedi Master Yoda, before he was taken on by Qui-Gon Jinn. Originally, Obi-Wan was thought to be erratic and wasn't taken on by Master Jinn until they both had to work together as a team to escape Bandamir. The first face-off between these two took place on Naboo between Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. The fight starts out with Darth Maul showcasing his double-bladed lightsaber. Throughout the entire match, Darth Maul appeared to have the upper hand on Qui-Gon. The fight only lasted as long as it did with the help of Kenobi. Once separated from Kenobi, though, and placed in a smaller room, Maul was in charge of the match and was able to take Master Jinn off guard. Maul swiftly stabs Qui-Gon and the fight is over. Obi-Wan blasts towards Maul in a rage. Now, some believe Kenobi used the dark side of the Force to his advantage, and I can agree with them. You definitely can tell that he was in a bit of anger after watching his master cut down. The fight ensues, and you can really see Kenobi's first chosen lightsaber form, Ataru, working with him. Maul ends up getting the upper hand on Kenobi, though, and pushes him down the dark tunnel. After being pushed down the seemingly endless hole, Kenobi was able to catch himself only to have his lightsaber kicked down by Maul. Kenobi is then able to jump up and over Maul, force-pulling Master Jinn's lightsaber to himself and slicing Maul right in half. It's then Maul falls down this tunnel where Kenobi assumes he is dead. Now that wasn't the last of Maul by any means. 10 years later, after going insane on Lotho Minor, and after attaching cybernetic spider legs to himself, he is confronted by his Dathomirian brother, Savage Opress, who will eventually take Maul back to the Night Sisters to not only restore his legs, but to restore his mind. Maul and his brother are eventually able to imprison Kenobi, which becomes honestly a really dumb decision. Asajj Ventress comes to the rescue though, and it eventually leads to Kenobi and Ventress against Maul and Opress. After clashing lightsabers back and forth, Kenobi and Ventress are just barely able to escape. Next duel, Maul and Savage decide to go on a murder spree on Florum, and this is basically to help lure Kenobi in and hopefully trap him. Kenobi and Master Adi Gallia decide to show up to help end this conflict. However, Maul and Savage were at an all-time high in their fighting capabilities, which didn't boast well for Adi Gallia. After some dueling, Savage eventually gets the upper hand on Gallia by brutally force pushing her against the wall and then ramming his horns into her torso, killing her. The fight continued, but now it was Savage and Maul against Kenobi. Kenobi digs himself into a hole with both the brothers clashing down on him. Fortunately, Kenobi is a master of Form 3 Sorisu by this time and is able to escape the clutches of Maul and Opress, as well as ending up taking one of Savage's arms before making the escape. After a while, Maul ended up actually stumbling into Death Watch, and this is where he learned Kenobi's love for Duchess Satine. Satine calling Kenobi for help was the perfect trap, and Maul never actually had the intention to kill Kenobi, but rather to cause him immense suffering. Maul succeeded at this by murdering Satine right in front of Kenobi. Afterwards, Kenobi was locked away to drown in his sorrows. Fortunately for Kenobi, he does eventually escape, and Palpatine ends up showing up to put Maul and Savage in their place. After a long time, and the Galactic Empire has already taken over, finally, the two reunite on Tatooine. And Obi-Wan doesn't have any intentions of fighting Maul, and he didn't really have intentions until Maul figures out what, or rather who, Kenobi is protecting. It's at this point Kenobi has exhausted all of his options and knew what must be done. After an intense stare down, Maul leaps forward to try and take out Kenobi with the same attack he took Master Jinn out with. Unfortunately for him, Kenobi was ready and sliced down through Maul's lightsaber and his torso. After the rest of the time, it gets pretty emotional, with Maul asking if Kenobi is guarding the Chosen One, with Kenobi replying, yes. Maul will then respond with, he will avenge us. I'm hoping we get to see another duel between these two in the upcoming Kenobi series, but honestly, I doubt we will. Nonetheless, I feel the last fight was a beautiful way to end the conflict between Kenobi and Maul. Maul's lust for power and revenge for Kenobi was honestly directed toward his hatred for Sidious, in my opinion. And I think once he finally lost to Kenobi, he began to realize this. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and if you think this was a perfect way to end their rivalry. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe. See you next time.